Dr. Jiho Park was checking his research notes when the alarm started screaming. The sound cut through the peaceful quiet of Nexus Prime's medical wing like a knife. Red lights flashed everywhere, and his tablet showed the emergency code that made his blood run cold. Someone very important was dying. He dropped his coffee and ran toward the main medical bay. His feet hit the metal floor hard as he rushed through the long hallways. Other doctors and nurses were running too, but they looked scared and confused. Jiho had seen that look before during the plague outbreaks on Earth's outer colonies. It was the look people got when they didn't know what to do. The medical bay doors slid open, and Jiho saw something he would never forget. Emperor Valkyris of the Altaran Empire was lying on the biggest medical table in the room. His body looked like it was made of living crystal, just like all his people. But something was very wrong. The beautiful blue light that usually came from inside Altaran bodies was getting darker. Black lines were spreading across the Emperor's crystal skin like cracks in ice. Around the table, dozens of the galaxy's best doctors were working frantically. They had machines that could rebuild entire organs and computers that could cure diseases in seconds. But they all looked helpless. Dr. Kent, the head of the medical station, was shaking his forearms in frustration. The insect-like doctor from the hive worlds was clicking his mandibles nervously. Even the Zenthari doctors, who never showed emotion, looked worried. "What happened?" Jiho asked as he pushed through the crowd. "Poison," said Dr. Kent, without looking up from his scanner. "Something we've never seen before. It's attacking his silicon-based biology directly. Our computers say he has maybe 6 hours left." Jiho moved closer to the Emperor. The smell hit him first, metallic and sharp, like the old factories on Earth, before they learned how to clean them up. He had smelled that before, during his training in the worst parts of Earth's industrial zones. It was the smell of heavy metal poisoning. "Have you tried chelation therapy?" he asked. Dr. Kent's big eyes turned to look at him. "What is that? Our databases don't show any treatment by that name." Jiho felt his heart speed up. These alien doctors had technology that could do amazing things, but they had never dealt with the kind of dirty, messy poisoning that humans had been fighting for hundreds of years. Earth had been a poisoned planet once, and humans had learned the hard way how to survive when their own world tried to kill them. "It's an old Earth treatment," Jiho said, moving to the Emperor's side. "We use it when metals get into the body, where they shouldn't be." The Zenthari doctor made a sound like a computer processing bad data. "Primitive human medicine cannot help here. This is advanced alien biochemistry." But Jiho was already running his portable scanner over the Emperor's body. The readings made him more sure he was right. The poison was acting just like the heavy metal contamination that had killed millions of humans in the early industrial age. It was binding to the Emperor's crystalline structure and disrupting the energy flow that kept him alive. "Sir," Jiho said to the Emperor, even though everyone said he couldn't hear, "I'm going to help you. Just hold on." The Emperor's daughter, Princess Mira, was standing in the corner. Her crystal body was bright with worry and fear. She walked over to Jiho with careful steps. "Are you certain you can help him?" she asked. Her voice sounded like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "I'm not certain of anything," Jiho said honestly. "But I know what this poison is doing. It's something my people have seen before." Dr. Kent was getting angry. "You cannot experiment on the Emperor. If he dies under primitive human care, there will be war. The Altaran fleet is already moving toward our borders." Jiho looked at all the alien doctors around the table. They had given up. Their perfect technology had failed them, and now they were just waiting for the most important leader in the galaxy to die. But humans had learned something during their long fight to survive on Earth. Sometimes you had to try things that seemed impossible. "Then what's your plan?" Jiho asked Dr. Kent. "Wait and watch him die?" The alien doctor's scanner beeped with bad news. The poison was spreading faster. The black lines were reaching toward the Emperor's heart crystal, the organ that powered his entire body. Outside the medical bay, Jiho could hear the sound of ships docking. Through the windows, he saw the sleek silver ships of the Altaran Royal Guard. He also saw the dark angular ships of the Hive Collective moving into position. If the Emperor died, the peace treaty that had held for 20 years would die with him. Captain Suman Lee's voice came through the communication system. Medical Bay, this is Captain Lee of the human vessel Perseverance. We're getting reports of military movement from multiple fleets. What's the situation? Dr. Kent activated his communicator. Captain Lee, Emperor Valkyris has been poisoned. We estimate he has less than 5 hours to live. I recommend you move your ship to a safe distance. There was silence for a moment. Then Captain Lee's voice came back, calm and steady. Negative, Doctor. We're staying right here. Is Dr. Park with you? I'm here, Captain, Jiho said into the communicator. What do you need, Doctor? Jiho looked around at all the alien technology that couldn't save the Emperor. Then he thought about the old medical textbooks from Earth, the ones that talked about fighting poison with simple chemistry and determination. I need you to contact Earth Medical Command, he said. Tell them we need everything they have on heavy metal chelation therapy. And Captain, we're going to need some very old-fashioned equipment. The alien doctors looked at him like he was crazy. Princess Mira stepped closer. You really think you can save him? She asked. Jiho put his hand near the Emperor's crystal, hand not quite touching. Princess, my people spent 300 years learning how to live on a planet that was trying to poison us. We got very good at refusing to die. The Emperor's body was getting darker, but Jiho thought he saw a tiny flicker of light when he spoke. Maybe the Emperor could hear him after all. The real fight was about to begin. Admiral Daehyun Kim stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the tactical display with growing concern. Red dots showed Alteran warships jumping into the system every few minutes. Blue dots marked the Hive collective fleet moving into attack formation. Yellow dots were the neutral ships trying to get away from what looked like the start of a galactic war. Sir, his communications officer said, we're getting direct orders from Confederation Command. They want us to withdraw immediately and maintain neutrality. Daehyun looked at the display again. In the center of all those angry fleets was one small green dot, Nexus Prime, where Emperor Valkyris was dying and Dr. Jiho Park was trying to do the impossible. Negative, Daehyun said. We stay. His bridge crew looked surprised. Going against Confederation orders was serious business. But Daehyun had read Dr. Park's initial reports. The young human doctor had found something that all the alien experts had missed. Sometimes that was all you needed, one person who saw things differently. Sir, his tactical officer said, the Alteran fleet commander is demanding to know why human ships are still in the system. He says if the Emperor dies while humans are present, he'll consider it an act of war. Tell him we're here to help save his Emperor, not watch him die, Daehyun replied. Commander Yuna Choi walked onto the bridge carrying a medical kit that looked like it belonged in a museum. She had been a combat medic during the worst industrial disasters in human space. Her grandmother had survived the great pollution crisis on Earth, and her family had kept all the old medical knowledge that most people thought was useless now. Admiral, she said, I've been reviewing Dr. Park's initial scans. He's right about the heavy metal poisoning, but there's something else. This poison is learning. Daehyun turned to face her. Learning? Every time the alien doctors try a new treatment, the poison adapts to it. It's getting stronger and smarter. Their perfect medical computers are actually helping it evolve. Engineer Minho Ko joined them on the bridge. He was carrying old blueprints that had been stored in the ship's historical database. Admiral, my grandmother used to work in the atmospheric processors on New Sol. Before they had clean technology, they had to deal with constantly changing toxic environments. I think I know what equipment Dr. Park needs. On the main screen, they could see Nexus Prime surrounded by angry alien fleets. The Hive collective ships were moving closer, their insect commanders probably thinking this was the perfect time to start a war, while the Altaran Empire was distracted by their dying emperor. Dr. Song is already on the station, Yuna said, checking her tablet. She's the best toxicologist we have, but the alien doctors won't listen to her. They keep saying human medicine is too primitive. Through the communication system, they could hear the argument happening in the medical bay. Dr. Kent's voice was getting higher and more frustrated. This is insanity. You want to give the Emperor industrial chemicals? The same chemicals that poisoned your own planet? Dr. Hanasong's voice came back calm and patient. Dr. Kent, those chemicals taught us how to fight this kind of poison. We learned by surviving what almost killed us. The Zenthari science advisor's mechanical voice joined the conversation. The probability of success using primitive human methods is 0.3%. The probability of causing additional harm is 67.8%. This is not logical. Admiral Daehyun activated his communicator. Medical Bay, this is Admiral Kim. Dr. Song, what do you need? Admiral, we need to stop thinking like the aliens. They want to fight this poison with precision and logic. But this poison doesn't follow their rules. It's chaotic, adaptive, mean. We need to fight it the same way. Princess Mira's voice joined the conversation. Admiral Kim, I have been watching your people work. They do not give up the way others do. Why? Daehyun thought about how to explain it. Princess, humans spent a long time learning how to live in places that wanted to kill us. We got stubborn about staying alive. Back in the medical bay, Dr. Jiho Park was watching the Emperor get worse. The black lines were spreading faster now, reaching toward his heart crystal. Every few minutes, Dr. Kent's machines would beep with another warning. The Emperor's life signs were getting weaker. The alien treatments are making it worse, Dr. Song said, showing her readings to anyone who would listen. Every time we try, their perfect sterile approaches, the poison learns how to beat them. We need to confuse it. Dr. Isul Bai, the human psychologist, had been quietly observing the Emperor. There's something else, she said. Watch his life signs when different people talk to him. She showed them her scanner. When the alien doctors spoke in their calm, professional voices about his condition, the Emperor's energy levels dropped. When Princess Mira held his hand and spoke with emotion, his energy got a little stronger. The poison is feeding on his despair, Dr. Bay said. It gets stronger when he feels hopeless. The alien doctors are accidentally making him give up by being so logical about his death. Field medic Kyung-ho Jang had been studying the old Earth medical text that Captain Lee had transmitted from their ship's database. I have an idea, he said. But it's going to sound crazy. Dr. Kent looked at him with tired eyes. At this point, crazy might be better than hopeless. What is your idea? We poison him more. The silence in the medical bay was complete. Even, the machines seemed to stop beeping for a moment. You want to give him more poison? Princess Mira asked. Not more of the same poison, Kyung-ho explained. Different poisons. Earth-based toxins that we know how to control. We make the alien poison fight them for resources in his system. While they're fighting each other, we clean them all out. The alien doctors looked horrified. Dr. Kent's scanner was shaking in his 4 hands. That is the most dangerous medical procedure I have ever heard of. But Princess Mira was looking at the human doctors with something new in her bright crystal eyes. It wasn't fear anymore. It was hope. Dr. Park, she said, do you believe this will work? Jiho looked at the Emperor, who was getting darker by the minute. Princess, I believe it's the only thing we haven't tried. And humans are very good at making dangerous things work. Outside, more ships were arriving. The Hive Collective Fleet was getting ready to attack. The Altaran Royal Guard was preparing to defend their dying emperor. In a few hours, the galaxy might be at war. But in the medical bay, humans were getting ready to fight a different kind of battle. They were going to save the emperor by poisoning him, confuse a learning toxin by giving it too many things to learn, and prove that sometimes the most advanced medicine was knowing when to ignore everything. Advanced about medicine, the real fight was just beginning. The argument in the medical bay was getting louder. Dr. Kent was waving all 4 of his arms while speaking rapidly in his native language. The Zenthari doctors were making clicking sounds that meant they were very upset. Even the calm Kalans were showing signs of stress, their blue skin changing to a worried purple color. Field medic Kyung-ho Jang stood in the middle of it all, holding a small vial of clear liquid. It looked harmless, but everyone in the room knew it contained enough. Poison to kill most life forms in the galaxy. This is madness, Dr. Viridian of the Kalan said, his skin now completely purple. You want to introduce controlled toxins into the Emperor's system. It goes against every medical principle we know. Biochemist Sora Yoon was working at a portable table, mixing chemicals that made the alien doctors back away. Dr. Viridian, your medical principles are designed for normal situations. This isn't normal. She held up a scanner showing the Emperor's condition. The black lines had spread across 60% of his crystal body. His heart crystal was barely glowing. According to every alien medical computer on the station, he should already be dead. The poison is adapting faster than your treatments, Sora continued. Every time you try something new, it learns and gets stronger. We need to give it so many problems to solve that it can't focus on killing the Emperor. Engineer Minho Ko had been working for 3 hours straight, connecting human, industrial equipment to the alien medical systems. The machines looked wrong together. The sleek, quiet alien technology next to the loud, crude human equipment that was designed to work in the worst environments. The atmospheric processor is ready, he said, wiping grease from his hands. It's designed to clean poison out of entire planetary atmospheres. It should be able to handle one person's bloodstream. Princess Mira stood next to her father's bedside. The Emperor looked terrible. His usually bright crystal body was almost black now, with only tiny flickers of light showing he was still alive. She had been watching the human doctors work, and she was starting to understand something important. You argue with each other, she said to the humans. The alien doctors always agree and follow protocols, but you fight about everything. Why? Dr. Isolbe looked up from her psychological readings. Princess, when someone's life is in danger, we don't have time to be polite. We argue because we care more about being right than being liked. The communication system crackled with Captain Zoomin Lee's voice. Medical Bay, this is Captain Lee. I'm getting pressure from Confederation Command to withdraw our people. They're saying if the Emperor dies under human care, Earth will be held responsible. Dr. Jiho Park activated his communicator without taking his eyes off the Emperor. Captain, we're not leaving. We're the only ones who haven't given up. I understand, Doctor, but I need you to know what's happening out here. The Alteran fleet has 47 warships in position. The Hive Collective has 32 attack cruisers moving closer. If this goes wrong, it won't go wrong, Jiho said with more confidence than he felt. Dr. Hana Song had finished preparing the first batch of controlled toxins. They were based on old Earth industrial chemicals, the kind that had poisoned millions of humans before they learned how to handle them safely. Now, those same poisons might save the most important life in the galaxy. The first injection will be mercury-based compounds, she explained to the horrified alien doctors. The alien poison will try to neutralize it, which will slow down its attack on the Emperor's system. Dr. Kent was making distressed sounds. You are going to inject the Emperor with mercury. That is lethal to most life forms. Not if you know how to control it, Dr. Song replied. Humans have been dealing with mercury poisoning for centuries. We know exactly how much to use and how to get it out of his system afterward. Engineer Baekhyun Lim was monitoring the jury-rigged equipment that would process the Emperor's crystal biology. The machines were loud and crude, nothing like the quiet, elegant alien technology, but they were designed to handle the kind of chaos that happened when toxic environments tried to kill you. The filtration system is online, he reported. It's not pretty, but it works. The Emperor's crystalline structure is different from human biology, but the basic principles are the same. Nurse Jae-hyun-oh was the only medical person who seemed calm. He had worked in Earth's worst industrial zones, treating people who had been poisoned by things that weren't supposed to exist. The Emperor's vital signs are getting weaker, but they're still steady. If we're going to do this, it has to be now. Princess Mira made a decision that surprised everyone. She walked over to the human medical team and stood between them and the alien doctors. I give permission for the human treatment, she said. My father is dying. Your advanced medicine has failed. Perhaps their primitive medicine will succeed. The alien doctors looked shocked. Dr. Viridian's skin turned almost black with distress. Princess, if this fails, if the Emperor dies because of human intervention, the political consequences will be catastrophic. If we do nothing, he dies anyway, Princess Mira replied. At least this way, someone is trying to save him. Admiral Daehyun Kim's voice came through the communication system. Medical Bay, we're getting reports that the Hive Collective is preparing for immediate attack. They think the Emperor's death is certain, and they want to strike while the Altaran fleet is distracted. Commander Taeguk Shin, who was providing security for the human medical team, checked his weapon readings. Admiral, we've got alien security forces getting nervous. If the Emperor dies while we're treating him, we might have to fight our way out of here. Dr. Jiho Park looked around the medical bay. The alien doctors had backed away from the treatment area, clearly wanting no part of what the humans were about to do. The human team was ready, their crude equipment humming and making noise that hurt everyone's ears. Dr. Song, begin the first injection, he said. Hana Song carefully inserted the needle into the Emperor's crystal arm. The mercury-based compound flowed into his system, and immediately every alarm in the medical bay started screaming. The Emperor's body flashed with chaotic light as two different poisons began fighting each other inside him. His life signs are spiking, Nurse Jae-hyun-oh called out, watching his monitors. The alien poison is responding to the mercury compound. It's trying to neutralize it. Good, Dr. Song said, preparing the second injection. While it's busy with that, it can't focus on killing him. The alien doctors watched in horror and fascination as the human treatment began. The Emperor's body was now a battlefield where human industrial toxins fought an alien super poison. It should have killed him instantly. Instead, for the first time in hours, the black line stopped spreading. Princess Mira grabbed Dr. Park's arm. It's working. It's working, Jiho said, hardly believing it himself. The poison is confused. It doesn't know which threat to fight first. Outside the medical bay, the galaxy was preparing for war. But inside, humans were proving that sometimes the best way to save a life was to risk everything on an idea that everyone else thought was impossible. The real battle was just beginning. The medical bay had become a war zone. Not the kind with weapons and explosions, but the kind where life and death fought each other inside the Emperor's crystal body. The human equipment was working at maximum capacity, making sounds that hurt everyone's ears. Sparks flew from connections that weren't meant to handle alien biology, and the smell of hot metal filled the air. Engineer Baekhyun Lim was on his hands and knees under the main processor, rewiring connections that kept burning out. This equipment wasn't designed for crystalline life forms, he shouted over the noise. I'm having to rebuild it as we go. Dr. Hana Song was monitoring the poison battle happening inside the Emperor. Her scanners showed a chaotic mess of competing toxins, each trying to destroy the others. The third injection is ready. Lead-based compounds this time. The alien poison is getting confused, trying to fight mercury and lead at the same time. Nurse Jae-hyun-oh was watching the Emperor's vital signs jump around like crazy. His heart crystal is getting stronger. The alien poison is using so much energy fighting our toxins that it's losing its grip on his core systems. Outside the medical bay, the situation was getting worse. Through the windows, they could see the Hive Collective fleet moving into attack position. The insect-like aliens had decided that the Emperor's death was certain, and they wanted to strike while the Altaran Empire was weak and confused. Admiral Daehyun Kim's voice came through the communication system, tense with worry. Medical Bay, I'm getting direct threats from the Altaran fleet commander. If the Emperor dies under human treatment, he's going to consider it an act of war against his empire. Commander Yuna Choi was in the medical bay now, helping with the treatment while keeping an eye on the alien doctors who were watching everything with growing amazement and horror. Admiral, the treatment is working. The Emperor's condition is stabilizing. Princess Mira had not left her father's side for 12 hours. She was holding his crystal hand, talking to him in their musical language. Dr. Isul Bai had noticed something important. Whenever Princess Mira spoke with hope and determination, the Emperor's energy levels got stronger. The emotional component is crucial, Dr. Bai explained to the alien doctors who were still watching from a safe distance. Your people treat medicine like a mechanical process, but the patient's will to live affects the outcome. Dr. Viridian of the Kalans was studying the human treatment with his advanced scanners. His skin had changed from worried purple back to a curious blue. This is unprecedented. You are using the poisons to fight each other while simultaneously providing emotional support. It is chaotic and illogical, but it is working. Engineer Minho Ko had finally gotten the atmospheric processor working properly with the alien medical systems. The machine was designed to clean poison out of entire planet atmospheres, and now it was carefully filtering toxins out of one person's crystalline bloodstream. The filtration rate is increasing, he reported. We're pulling out the alien poison faster than it can reproduce now. The human industrial toxins are keeping it too busy to adapt properly. Field medic Kyung-ho Jang was preparing the next phase of treatment. Now comes the hard part. We have to remove all the poisons, both the alien one and ours, without killing the Emperor in the process. Dr. Ji-ho Park was exhausted but determined. He had been working for 16 hours straight, fighting a poison that could adapt to any treatment except the chaotic, unpredictable approach that humans had learned during their dirty industrial past. The chelation therapy is ready, he announced. This will bind to all the metals in his system and help his body eliminate them naturally. Dr. Kent, who had been opposed to the human treatment from the beginning, was now studying their methods with fascination. Your approach violates every principle of sterile medical practice. You are using industrial equipment in a medical setting. You are fighting poison with poison. You are encouraging emotional responses in the patient. Yet it is working. Biochemist. Sora Yoon was monitoring the complex chemical reactions happening inside the Emperor's body. The alien poison is weakening. It spent so much energy trying to adapt to multiple human toxins that it's losing its ability to damage his crystalline structure. The communication system crackled with an urgent message from Captain Suman Lee. Medical Bay, the Confederation, Command is ordering immediate withdrawal of all human personnel. They're saying we're in violation of medical treaties and diplomatic protocols. Princess Mira looked up from her father's bedside. Captain Lee, I formally request that human medical personnel remain to complete the treatment. As heir to the Altaran throne, I have the authority to make this decision. Commander Taeguk Shin was monitoring the security situation. Princess, I should warn you, if this treatment fails, if the Emperor dies, there are going to be serious consequences for everyone involved. Then we better make sure he lives, Princess Mira said, echoing the same determination she had heard from Admiral Kim hours earlier. The Emperor's body was changing. The black lines that had been spreading across his crystal skin were getting lighter. His heart crystal was glowing brighter than it had in days. For the first time since the poisoning began, he looked like he might actually survive. Dr. Wu Jin Nam, the human virologist, had been studying samples of the alien poison. I think I know who made this, he said, looking up from his microscope. This isn't a natural toxin. Someone engineered it specifically to kill Altaran biology, but they based it on Earth industrial poisons, probably thinking no one would know how to treat it. Nurse Jae-hyuno was watching the Emperor's vital signs stabilize. Whoever made this poison never expected to run into humans who had actually survived this kind of toxic environment. Engineer Baekhyun Lim finally crawled out from under the atmospheric processor, covered in grease and burns from electrical shorts. The equipment is holding together, but just barely. We need about 6 more hours to complete the full detoxification. Dr. Hana Song was preparing the final phase of treatment. The human toxins have done their job. Now we remove everything and let his body heal naturally. Princess Mira squeezed her father's crystal hand. Father, can you hear me? The humans are saving your life. They refused to give up when everyone else accepted your death. For the first time in 24 hours, Emperor Valkrys's eyes opened. They were dim and weak, but they were open. He looked at his daughter, then at the human doctors working around him, then at the crude, noisy equipment that was cleaning poison out of his body. Thank you, he whispered in the common galactic language, his voice like distant wind chimes. Doctor, Ji-ho Park smiled for the first time since the crisis began. Save your strength, Your Majesty. We're not done yet. Outside, the galaxy was still preparing for war. But inside the medical bay, something impossible was happening. The most important leader in the galaxy was going to live, saved by doctors, who everyone had said were too primitive to help, using equipment that everyone had said was too crude to work, with methods that everyone had said were too dangerous to try. Sometimes being primitive was exactly what you needed. 96 hours after Emperor Valkyries had collapsed, Dr. Jiho Park was watching the last traces of poison leave the Emperor's system. The crude human atmospheric processor was working perfectly, filtering the final toxins out of the Emperor's crystalline bloodstream. The loud, ugly machine that had horrified the alien doctors was gently cleaning poison that should have killed the most powerful leader in the galaxy. Engineer Minho Ko was monitoring the filtration readings with tired but happy eyes. "That's it," he said quietly. "The last of the alien poison is gone. His system is clean." Dr. Hana Song was running final tests on the Emperor's blood chemistry. All human-introduced toxins are also eliminated. His crystalline structure is regenerating normally. The treatment was successful. Emperor Valkyries was sitting up on the medical table for the first time in 4 days. His crystal body was glowing with healthy blue light again. The black lines that had nearly killed him were completely gone. He looked weak, but alive, and getting stronger by the hour. "Dr. Park," the Emperor said, his voice growing stronger, "I owe you my life. I owe all of you my life." Princess Mira was crying tears of joy, actual tears, something that surprised everyone because they didn't know Altarans could cry. "Father, the humans saved you when everyone else said it was impossible." Dr. Viridian of the Kalans was studying the final medical reports with amazement. His skin had changed to a bright gold color that meant he was extremely impressed. This treatment defied every medical principle we know, yet it worked perfectly. How? Dr. Wu Jin Nam had finally completed his analysis of the original poison. The toxin was artificially created. Someone took Earth industrial poisons and modified them to attack Altaran biology. They thought no one would recognize it or know how to treat it. The communication system activated with Admiral Daehyun Kim's voice, and for the first time in days, he sounded happy. "Medical Bay, I'm getting reports that the Hive Collective fleet is withdrawing. The Altaran fleet is standing down. News that the Emperor is alive and recovering is spreading across the galaxy." Captain Sumin Lee's voice joined the conversation. "Admiral, Confederation Command is asking for a full report on the human medical procedures used. They want to understand how we succeeded where their advanced medical technology failed." Dr. Isilbey was completing her psychological evaluation of the Emperor. "Your Majesty, the emotional support provided by your daughter and the determination shown by the human medical team played a crucial role in your recovery. The poison fed on despair, but hope weakened it." Emperor Valkyries looked around the medical bay at the human team that had refused to let him die. The crude equipment was still running, making noise that hurt everyone's ears. Sparks were still flying from connections that were barely holding together. The whole setup looked like it belonged in a junkyard, not an advanced medical facility. "Dr. Park," the Emperor said, "your equipment is loud and crude. Your methods violate every medical protocol in the galaxy. Your people argued and fought throughout the entire treatment. Yet you saved my life when the most advanced medical minds in the galaxy had given up." "How?" Jiho thought about how to explain it. "Your Majesty, humans learned medicine by surviving on a planet that was trying to kill us. We got good at fighting poison because we lived with poison for centuries. We argue because we care more about being right than being polite. And our equipment is crude because we built it to work in the worst possible conditions." Commander Yuna Choi was packing up the human medical equipment. The alien doctors wanted to fight the poison with precision and logic, but this poison didn't follow their rules. It was chaotic and mean, so we fought it with chaos and stubbornness. Engineer Baekhyun Lim was finally shutting down the atmospheric processor. "Your Majesty, our equipment is ugly and loud, but it works. Sometimes that's more important than being elegant." Princess Mira stood up and faced the assembled alien doctors who had watched the human treatment with growing respect. "Today I learned something important about medicine and about humans. Advanced technology is not always the same as effective treatment." Dr. Kent, who had opposed the human treatment from the beginning, approached Dr. Park with all 4 arms extended in a gesture of respect. "Dr. Park, I was wrong to dismiss your methods as primitive. I request permission to study human medical techniques." The Zenthari medical advisor's mechanical voice carried a note of something that might have been humor. The probability of success using human methods was calculated at 0.3%, yet success was achieved. Our calculations did not account for the human refusal to accept statistical probability. Field medic Kyung-ho Jang was cleaning up the last of the controlled toxins they had used to confuse the alien poison. Your Majesty, the person who created the poison that nearly killed you made one mistake. They assumed no one would be crazy enough to fight poison with poison. Emperor Valkyrie slowly stood up from the medical table. He was still weak, but he was alive and getting stronger. Dr. Park, what do you call this medical technique you used to save my life? Jiho thought for a moment. We don't really have a name for it, Your Majesty. We just call it refusing to give up. The Emperor walked over to the communication system and activated it so his voice would reach every ship in the system. This is Emperor Valkyrie. I am alive and recovering thanks to the skill and determination of the human medical team. The crisis is over. All fleets will stand down immediately. Admiral Daehyun Kim's voice came back with obvious relief. Your Majesty, it's good to hear your voice again. What are your orders regarding the investigation into your poisoning? The investigation will continue, the Emperor replied. But first, I have other business to attend to. Dr. Park, I formally request that you and your team accept Alteran citizenship for saving my life. Princess Mira, please prepare an official statement recommending the establishment of a human medical corps as part of Confederation emergency services. Dr. Woo Jin Nam had identified the source of the poison through his analysis. Your Majesty, the poison was created by a rogue faction trying to start a war between your empire and the Hive Collective. They thought your death would cause chaos they could exploit. Princess Mira was drafting the official statement about human medical capabilities. I am recommending that human medical teams be assigned to all major diplomatic stations. Their approach to impossible situations may prove valuable in future crises. 6 months later, Admiral Daehyun Kim stood in the newly constructed Human Medical Corps headquarters on Nexus Prime. Dr. Jiho Park was wearing the uniform of a Confederation medical officer, with additional insignia showing his status as an Altaran citizen. The motto above the entrance read, "When logic says impossible, humans say, not yet." Emperor Valkyrie had recovered completely. The poison had been traced to a small terrorist group that was now in custody. The Human Medical Corps had already saved 17 lives that alien doctors had declared hopeless. Princess Mira visited the facility regularly, studying human medical techniques and learning about the stubbornness that refused to accept death when life was still possible. In the end, the galaxy learned something important. Sometimes the most advanced approach was knowing when to ignore everything advanced about the approach. Sometimes crude equipment that worked was better than elegant equipment that failed. Sometimes arguing and fighting and refusing to be polite was exactly what a dying patient needed. And sometimes the best medicine was simply refusing to give up, even when everyone else said giving up was the logical thing to do. The humans had proven something that day. In a universe full of species that had learned when to quit, humanity's greatest strength was that they never learned when they should.